welcome to SVG-TV's news for Friday, December 20th, 2024. I'm Triska Campbell with the details. Prime Minister Dr. Gonsalves, who also leads the Ministry of National Security, believes the process of implementing certain reforms within the police force is too slow, both in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and across the region. The Prime Minister shared his views during a featured address at the opening of the three-day gun intelligence workshop held in St. Vincent this week.
Will somebody please tell me how the special branch in any of these territories can continue the way in which they've been operating 30, 40 years ago? It has to be different. Staffed differently, operating differently, going out in the communities and getting real intelligence to help to feed it into decisions in fighting crime. In addition, of course, to those who are actually fighting crime, to get the intelligence. And of course, in getting the support from the CARICOM unit dealing with guns. Of course, in getting intelligence from the Regional Intelligence Fusion Center. Nobody wants to go on the beat. They think beat is punishment. Throughout the whole of the Caribbean, policemen don't want to go on the beat. But the beat is the first place for your eyes and your ears of intelligence. You will drive about cities and areas, not just in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but also in other territories in the Caribbean. It seems to be a regional malaise. You hardly see a policeman on the road. They want to sit down in the office like a civil servant, receive telephone call. I'm sorry, I can't come because I don't have a transportation to walk down the 100 yards to come see you. You all know that, you know.
In light of the recent spate of killings in SVG, a relatively small country, Prime Minister Gonsalves emphasized that there should be enough intelligence for the police to act upon.
I'm not talking about the police being able to stop crime, you know, because you remember I start from your parents. I come all the way through the schools, through the pastors and everything. But the police is on the front line to see if you can prevent the crime by persons with the intention to choose to go to crime. And if they have chosen to be able to get the intelligence swiftly, to be able to get the evidence to charge them and bring them before the courts. So don't get me wrong, and the police can't be everywhere. But the fact that you can't be everywhere don't mean that you must be nowhere. Yeah? You want more vehicles, you get more vehicles. I note a pattern. And I'm sure the police would have noted it too. And you have to act on it. When one set of people steal or intercept somebody else's cocaine or double cross them, reprisals occur. And when the reprisal occurs, other things come into the mix. The root is they get rip off with the cocaine and sometimes with the ganja. And then persons in the associational grouping, they start to kill others for other additional reasons that one may then kill somebody and is my friend get killed. So they want a reprisal for that. But the root of it started, the spate start when man get rip off with the coke or the ganja. Since when we're not realistic and we find that realism, I believe sometimes some of the courses which you go on, you have some social scientists and other people who teach you some things which are so abstract. They take you away from reality and you could write nice papers with concepts and so on and you forget how the real world of some of these animals behave. Metaphoric animals, of course. So
the Prime Minister noted that St. Vincent and the Grenadines has a capable group of police officers who are intelligent, well-trained and reasonably well-led. He urged both rank-and-file officers and senior personnel to take the business of policing more seriously, stressing the importance of professionalism and dedication in tackling crime.
You're not taking it seriously. Leave and get a job as a civil servant. Or you have skills elsewhere. There is this business We have become an organization where we have specialist groups. For instance, there's a traffic branch. If I'm police in Georgetown or Sandy Bay see fellas breaking the traffic laws, they don't do one thing about those persons. They say that's for the traffic police. Somebody committing some crime, you want to stay as far away from it as possible. That's CID business. That's Major Crimes Unit or something. Every policeman has a set of obligations. They're specialists in the police force. And it's a specialist, and you contact the specialist, but that doesn't mean you don't act. Policing is not a continuing university seminar, you know. Remember, I'm talking about policing because I'm talking to you all. But you can't solve the problem with a fella whose mother don't advise him properly, or his father, or the community, or he greedy, he want to make money. He's chosen the life of crime. I'm not putting it on the policeman to correct all of those things, you know. But the laws on this on the statute books, very important. The police, the magistracy, the High Court, the prosecutors, all of these state institutions, they have important roles to play.
The Gun Intelligence Workshop, which concluded on Thursday, was hosted by the CARICOM Implementation Agency for Crime and Security CARICOM Impacts Crime and Gun Intelligence Unit, the CGIU, in collaboration with the Ministry of National Security, the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force, and the United States Embassy in Barbados. In other police-related news, the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force says, in light of late-night operation carried out on Wednesday, December 18, 2024, officers from the Glen Mobile Unit intensified their efforts against illegal firearms when they intercepted a silver motor vehicle in the Glen area at approximately 11:45 p.m. A thorough search of the vehicle revealed a black Taurus 9mm pistol and a quantity of 9mm ammunition. The men were immediately arrested and transported to the Calico police station for further investigations. The individuals apprehended all from the Glen community are Alitha James, 19 years old, Porter Javid Grant, a 20-year-old bag boy, Kamal Ballantyne, a 23-year-old mechanic, Vashant Thomas, a 20-year-old electrician. The SVG police force says following these arrests, search warrants were executed at each of the suspects' residences. These operations resulted in the discovery of an AR-15 rifle, a prohibited weapon, and a substantial quantity of 5.56mm NATO ammunition at one of the homes. While investigations into these prohibited items are ongoing, all four men have been charged with possessions of an unlicensed firearm and ammunition related to the 9mm pistol and ammunition initially found in the vehicle. They are scheduled to appear before the Serious Offences Court today, December 20th. The SVG police force says it remains steadfast in its efforts to curb the flow of illegal weapons and maintain public safety, and extends appreciation to law-abiding citizens who support law enforcement's initiatives and encourage anyone with information that could assist in ongoing investigations to come forward. In other news, the late mask designer and producer David Julian Pilling Pollard was among four individuals recognized for their outstanding contributions to culture and the arts in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The other honorees were Speaker of the OECS House of Assembly Rene Batiste, Calypsonian visual artist and poet Glenroy Sule Caesar, and benefactor and patron of many artists Jean Johnny. The recognitions took place at Government House on Wednesday during the national launch of The Story of Pauline Bramble, Book 1, Spring's Blossom, Young Thorns, written by Vincentian international law specialist and diplomat Dr. Richard A. Byron Cox. Dubbed Literature at Christmas, the event featured a special welcome from Governor General Her Excellency Dame Susan Duggan. The work and author were also appreciated by former Deputy Foreign Minister of Cuba, Ambassador Omas Olivia. Additionally, in-depth tripartite discussions on the book were held, featuring literary scholar and critic Her Excellency Ambassador Andrea Bowman, accountant Kirk De Silva, and author Dr. Richard A. Byron Cox. In his review of the book, Minister of Tourism, Sustainable Development and Culture Carlos James expressed his admiration for the work. He said he was captivated by the pages of the book and commended the author for what he called a masterpiece, a treasure for both St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the wider Caribbean.
This is truly a creative masterpiece, and it is worth every recognition that it receives. This publication certainly helps to enrich our cultural identity as a people. We simply need to write more and tell our story. Richard has added to that catalog of writers who have added something of value to our culture as a Caribbean civilization. In understanding this narrative, the creative imagination of the writer takes us on a journey, an immersion in the daily paces of post-colonial life. The writer cultivates a keen appreciation for the dynamic process of creolization and the centrality of culture in our identity is quite evident in the novel. Understanding our cultural identity continues to be a persistent quest by our own Caribbean people for a place and a purpose.
James noted that the author offers a multifaceted view of post-colonial Caribbean life, addressing themes such as race, classism, and the social and cultural evolution of life in the Caribbean. He also emphasized the shared experiences of Caribbean people as presented in the work.
He probes deeply into the origins of Caribbean society, descriptively portraying the distinctive ideology that has arisen from our unique historical admixture of peoples and beliefs, giving us an ontology of Caribbean existence through his creative imagination. It brings to surface the challenges and tensions of Caribbean life, the very unique experiences of our Caribbean people, when woven together, gives us an ethnographic insight of our Caribbean cultural identity. I agree with Andrew Bowman's description of the story of Pauline Bramble as in the intricate Caribbean story portraying the historical and socio-cultural experiences which contextualize and shape their lives. For me, the story of Pauline Bramble exposes the raw underbelly of a post-colonial society, wearing the scars of the brutish legacies of slavery, the many experiences of our people. Many would agree that it awakens every emotion.
Minister Dr. Afghan Sals, who also attended and spoke at the event, said he too is also fascinated by the book and the stories it tells.
The story of Pauline Bramble is an attempt by us to come home to ourselves and to have a greater understanding and to see how we can make a whole daughter and a whole son in a way that's part of the conundrum posed to you by Milton Cato. how do we make a whole daughter and a whole son? And sometimes they're not just black or white, and they're grays, they're subtleties. But the issue is, even though history has made us compromises, we must not be compromising about things which we hold dear.
Kashaka Cupid has been selected as the opposition New Democratic Party's NDP candidate to contest the West St. George seat in the upcoming general elections, widely expected in 2025. In the runoff held last evening at the NDP's headquarters in Kingstown, Cupid defeated lawyer Louise Mitchell, the daughter of the founder of the NDP, as a possible candidate for the constituency currently held by Unity Labour Party's ULP Curtis King. Speaking to Eyewitness News after the selection exercise, party leader Dr. Godwin Friday expressed his satisfaction with Cupid's selection, noting that they are putting together a strong team to challenge the ULP in the upcoming polls.
The delegates all came here and they did their duty. And you saw that we had a smooth and very professional selection process, and that is a testament as well to the internal strength and capacity building and democratic processes within our party. And the name New Democratic Party means something. That is the way we pursue our politics internally, and as we do it nationally. We are building a team, the best team ever, to win the next election and to form government. I want to thank our two excellent candidates. You can see from the way in which we have been conducting this election process over the past several months that we have attracted excellent candidates who will win their seats for the New Democratic Party. We continue to do that. And tonight we had two first-class choices for the people of Western George. And the delegates are chosen. We will go forward and complete the process, and we have other work to do. The most important target we have, though, is Ralph Gonsalves and the ULP government, and to move them from office. This we are going to do. We started that process a while ago. We will complete it with the team we put in together, and part of the process was put in place here tonight. So I want to thank all the persons who came. I want to thank the delegates. I want to thank also the candidates.
You speak about completing the process. What does that involve?
Well, you know, in our party, we have a constitutional process that we follow. We try to follow it in the letter and also in the spirit. Of course, we have in the letter, we have to go forward now for ratification of the candidate by the Central Committee.
And what are some of the considerations in that process?
Well, the Central Committee will determine, basically will vote as to the candidates that were recommended by the constituency division of Western George. And they do that deliberation, and that is part of the process, which I'm not going to get into here.
Is it
Mitchell thanked her supporters, describing her experience campaigning for the candidacy as amazing. She added that moving forward, she will be fully supporting Cupid in his bid to win the constituency for the NDP.
Last few weeks, working throughout the Western George constituency, I've made so many new friends, met so many people, received such a warm welcome in the constituency. It's been a great experience. Tonight, Kashaka Cupid was the winner, and I'm going to give him my full support. I'm very excited about his candidacy for the New Democratic Party. And as I said tonight, I'm living in Western George. I'm not leaving, I'm not going anywhere, so I'm here. I'm going to work with Kashaka Cupid to help him bring Western George back to the New Democratic Party after being with the ULP for 28 years. It's been an honor and a pleasure to go through this experience. So I feel very humbled and grateful and very excited about the future for the party. I believe my proposed or my intended candidacy brought a lot of fire and energy to the constituency. When we had the party groups here, the hall was filled with over 200 people. We haven't seen that. So I think the energy, the fact that, you know, we both of us are good candidates, and we really energized, between him and myself, really energized the constituency. And this is the kind of energy that we need to form an election, to form government and win an election. So I feel really happy tonight, and I feel really strong strong about the spirit of unity here tonight. We didn't have this kind of unity when we had the elections, but you see, that's what elections are about, right? You got to compete, but at the end of the day, whoever wins, the loser has to support the winner, because we're all part of the same party. And the kind of unity I saw tonight, and that I know I'm going to bring to the table now, that is the healing bombs. We're going to make it together, and love and unity tonight is really powerful. I think you can feel the vibes. You were here tonight, and vibes can't lie, you know? So I feel really excited and really.
Cupid, an accountant, said he was happy to be selected as the NDP candidate for the West St. George constituency.
This has been a memorable journey, one that for me started way back in February when I declared my interest to Dr. Friday, and the process has been an exciting one so far, meeting the people of West St. George in the various communities, airing their views and concerns to me, and I am here to serve the people, and I look forward to doing so in a more meaningful way in the future.
As the Christmas season unfolds, members of the public are being reminded to make their health a top priority. During today's NBC's face-to-face program, Health Officer Melody Hercules, who works with the Nutrition Unit at the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment, highlighted ways to practice healthy eating during the festive season.
Google my plate method and see what it looks like. But I'll describe it for persons listening so you can have a little visual. I'm not too sure if I'll be good at all the descriptions, but so we have a plate. We normally encourage a 9-inch plate, and then we split the plate in 3. So one half would have fruits and vegetables, and fruits and vegetables of your choice, whatever you have access to, whatever you can afford, because the usual complaint is that vegetables are a bit pricey, and which they are, I can't deny that. However, they're very beneficial for us. So the idea is half the plate of fruits and vegetables, and then the other half we've divided into 2. So 1/4 would have your starches, so your rice, your macaroni pie, your provision, whatever starches you like to consume, and then the other 1/4 would have your protein, whether you're a vegetarian and you're having tofu and peas, or you like your meat and you're having your pork, your beef, your chicken, your turkey. When it comes to the starches now, I know persons are going to say, but I can't eat 1 starch at a time. 1/4 of the plate is only 1 starch. Because that's your portion size.
It's a rice or a potato salad.
However, if you do want to have more than 1 serving of starch, it just means that you have to cut down the size of the starch. So you're not going to have 3 spoonfuls of rice and try to pack it up high on the 1/4 of the plate. And you're not going to have a big slice of macaroni pie. You may have to cut the macaroni pie in a smaller piece, and then probably have 1 hot spoon of rice and peas.
Hercules emphasized the importance of maintaining a balanced diet and adopting healthy eating habits. She shared practical tips on how to make nutritious food choices during the holidays without compromising on enjoyment.
In general, it's always important to know what you're eating, because your body is getting nutrients from your body should be getting nutrients from whatever you're eating. So that's very important. But generally during the season, we tend to get caught up in the festivities and all the fun with our family and friends, and that's a great thing. I'm not shaming anybody for that. However, sometimes when we get caught up, we don't always pay attention to what we're eating, and it's very easy to overindulge in our local delicacies because they taste great. They taste great. We've been looking forward to them all year, and you know, it's been a long year. We survived the year, so now we're looking forward to fun and good food. And sometimes we tend to overindulge, and then when we overindulge, a lot of the things that we like tend to be high in salt or sugar. And we know, based on the numbers that were reported, that we have high numbers of persons living with diabetes and hypertension.
Several residents of the Canouan in the southern Grenadines were affected by the recent floods. One of the affected residents in Hudson, Durachet, who explained that this is the first time that he has experienced such extensive damage due to flooding.
Well, the flood me out from upstairs. That the roof did not finish as yet. And so I lived downstairs in the building, and unfortunately when I got up, my mattress on the ground was swimming also. You know, it was devastated really. And the flood affected me a lot because my clothes and everything, because you just move the thing and put everything downstairs, you know, it's smaller than the upstairs, so you know everything just pack up. Then the flood come and flood out everything.
But is this the first time you're seeing the heavy rain?
It's really the first time I ever experienced this kind of flood out. You know, the rain comes like a couple hours well. I mean, heavy showers, and all in the back of the building, everything is just flood out with water and all everything like that. It was really terrible.
With regards to recovery efforts, Dirishe said it has been difficult for him and others, even though they now have roofs over their heads.
And so on, restaurants up there get mashed up, the house roof and then gone, including here. And I put up with him several times, but the fifth time, really. I put by the station, by the building, twice, and pumping, and every time the people come down, my foot is giving me a lot of problem, really. Every time I line up in a line, only to hear, well, there's no Dirishe. And other people will say, well, there's no this, no that, and we are the people who have the home, but the people who get into things it's not the people who have the home. You understand? It's people who just put down their name because they could do it, and probably they was renting from one of us or something like that, and they're getting, and we are not getting nothing, you know. So we really don't know what's happening, really. But we
But did they assess your place?
Well, actually, they don't do that, you know. They go and they put down your name, and the people who was taking down your name know about you, and know they could see your house gone. They could, wherever there is, they could see it, so they know that you're not lying.